Hello everyone, this is Rekha Venkateshwarlu, Assistant Professor of Physics, Government Degree College, Women, Nalgonda. Now I am going to discuss about the topic atomic physics, continuation to the last lecture. The learning objectives of the present lectures are the source of electrons, the second one specific charge of electron. You will be able to learn about the effect of electric field on charged particle, the last effect of magnetic field on charged particle. So let us see these subcontents one by one. So what are the sources of electrons? There are different methods to produce the electrons. Already you know one is the discharging through the gases. So what is that? When the gas is subjected to very high potential difference and very low pressures, they are 0.01 millimeter of Hg pressure and 10,000 kilovolts potential difference, then the electrons will be emitted out from the cathode. So this is the one method. The second method is photoelectric effect. What is meant by photoelectric effect? When the light having the sufficient energy is incident on the metal surface, then electrons will be emitted out from the metal. That phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect. The electrons coming out from the metal surface is called as photoelectron. Okay, this is the second method to produce the electrons. The third method is thermionic emission. Thermionic emission is nothing but the solids. When the solids are heated to high temperatures, electrons will be coming out from the solid surface. That is called thermionic emission. The last method is beta ray production. You know that in natural radioactivity, radioactive substances like uranium, thorium, polonium, radium, etc., they will emit the radiations like alpha particle, beta particle and gamma radiations. That phenomenon is called as radioactivity. There, in the beta decay or beta disintegration process, then electron, the fastest moving electron will come out from the nucleus of the radioactive substance. So there what happens? Inside the nucleus of the radioactive element, neutron changing into the proton, in addition to the in that process, electron and anti-neutrino particles are emitting out. So that electron coming out from the nucleus is called beta ray or beta disintegration. So like this, we have the four methods to produce the electrons. So what are they? The first one is discharging through the gases. The second method, photoelectric effect. The third one is thermionic emission. The fourth one, beta ray productions. Right. The next subcontent we are going to discuss is determination of specific charge of electron by J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson determined the specific charge of the electron in 1897 and he calculated that value equal to 1.76 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. Right. So here, look here, the experimental setup used by the J.J. Thomson is as shown in the figure. It consists of, it is cathode and anode, right? So here we apply the magnetic field and electric field in this region where S dash is the fluorescent screen. Here A is the cylindrical type plate, that is the anode. So we know that when high potential about 10 kilovolts potential difference and 0.01 millimeter of Hg pressure applied in this discharging tube, then electrons will emit from the cathode surface normally like this. This fine electron beam is allowed to pass through the electric field and magnetic field. Here the electron beam is moving in this direction. Perpendicular to that, both electric field and magnetic field are arranged there. So there V bar perpendicular to E bar and perpendicular to B bar. So that means what? very fine electron beam is allowed to pass through the crossed electric and magnetic field. So electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular. So perpendicular to these both these fields, the electron beam is moving. Right. Right, here to arrange the electric field, we are using the two plates, that is X and Y metallic plates. This is connected, it is a positive charge plate, it is negative charge plate, right? So electric field direction is vertically downwards like this, right? So like this, the electric field is applied in this direction, magnetic field is applied in this direction, right? By using the solenoid coil, so it is not shown in this figure. Yeah, of course, SS dash is the fluorescent screen. When the electric field and magnetic field are adjusted so that if the electron beam is not deviated, then this passes straight like this and strikes the screen at the point P. Right? When the electric field is only applied, we know when the charge Q is placed in the electric field capital E, then it experiences the force F is equal to QE. F equal to QE. That is Fe equal to QE. So what I am saying, only when the electric field is applied in this discharging tube or Thomson experimental setup, then electron experiences the electric force that equal to Fe is given by that equal to QE. Right. Only when the magnetic field is applied, then Fm is equal to QVB. QVB, where Q is the charge of electron, V the speed of the electron beam. Okay. So here, so for that I will explain in detail. When the charged particle Q is moving with the speed V in the uniform magnetic field B, then it experiences the force F is equal Q into V bar cross B bar. F bar is equal Q into V bar cross B bar. Okay. So that is, we can write it as QVB sine theta, right? When theta is equal to 90 degrees, okay, then F is equal to QVB. It experiences the maximum force. That maximum force F maximum equal to QVB. Okay. So here we applied the perpendicular magnetic field. We applied the magnetic field perpendicular to the electron beam moving direction. So therefore, in this case, theta equal to 90 degrees. F is equal to QVB. Then the charged particle moves on that magnetic field in the circular path. So the charged particle follows the circular path. Right. So therefore here, to describe the circular path, this force provides the necessary centripetal force. Therefore, we can write QVB is equal to centripetal force mv square by r. mv square by r. Okay. So from this one we cancel. Q by m is equals to Q by m is equal. So what we get, m into v by Q by m is equal to V is equation 1. Okay. When electric field and magnetic field both are applied, then due to the electric field, the force F is equal to QE. Due to the magnetic field, Fm equal to QVB. If they are equal in magnitude in opposite direction, then the electron beam cannot deviate it. It is undeflected. Then also it follows the straight path and strikes the fluorescent screen at the point P. So then what is the condition? Force due to the electric field should be equal to the force due to the magnetic field Fm. Okay. So Fe equal to Fm. That is, I am writing here Fe QE is equal to, that equals to QVB. QQ cancel. Therefore, the speed of the electron beam V is equal E by B. Say this is equation 2. Substituting this value in this equation 1, then the ratio of charge to mass, that is nothing but specific charge, that equal to V E by D by B into R. So that gives Q by M is equal to E by RB square. In this formula, E is the electric field strength we applied here. That is the electric field strength between the plates. Of course, we are using here uniform electric field. The direction of electric field is vertically downwards because the positive flat is above, the negative flat is here. B is the magnetic field strength. So applied in this. So there the circular dotted line shows the magnetic field or radius of the circular path followed by the electron only when the magnetic field is applied. Using this formula, we can calculate the specific charge of electron. So here Q by M is nothing but the ratio of charge to mass, right? So for electron, in general we write E by M. Electron charge Q equal to E, hence Q by M. Thomson calculated that value exactly 1.7589 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. Approximately we can write it 1.76 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. And also he found that in the discharging tube, if any gas is taken, in each case he got the same value. Therefore, we can say that electrons are the integral parts of all the matters. So electron is the constant of all materials. Therefore, he got the same value. Specific charge value 1.76 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. It's a universal constant. For any material, for any gas, we got the same value. Of course, we are taking the gas here. Okay. So in this way, we can calculate the specific charge of electron. Right? This is the Thomson method. Right. So we can write the expression for specific charge of electron in other terms because at cathode, the electron has the potential energy is equal to EV in this previous experimental setup. When it is reached to the anode, that potential energy converts as kinetic energy equal to half mv square. According to conservation of energy, so potential energy at cathode should be equal to kinetic energy at the anode of mv square. From this you write E by M is equal to V square by 2V. V square by 2V. Say this is equation 1. Already in that experiment we have the expression that when both electric and magnetic fields both are applied simultaneously and the electron beam is not deflected or undeviated, then what we have the expression for the speed of the beam? V equal to E by V. Okay. Substituting this equation 2 in equation 1, now we get E by M is equal to, that is E by B whole square by 2 capital V. E by M is equal to E square by 2VB square. In this, E stands for electric field strength, V potential difference between the plates XY, B magnetic field strength. Okay, using this expression also we can calculate the specific charge of electron. Right. The next topic is effect of electric field on the charged particle. Let us consider this is uniform electric field of strength capital E. Right. Suppose if the charged particle Q is placed in the uniform electric field, then it experiences the force F bar is equal to Q into E. So what I am saying, when the charged particle Q is placed in the uniform electric field, the force acts on the particle F is equal to QE. Vectorially we write it as F bar equal to Q into E bar. Okay. So here, if Q is positive, then F bar parallel to E bar. F bar parallel to E bar. For example, You take the charged particle like proton, deuteron, alpha particle. Suppose if they are placed in the uniform electric field, then the direction of the force acting on them is parallel to the field. Instead of that, if electron is placed in the uniform electric field, since electron is negatively charged particle, then what happens? When Q is negative, then F bar is anti-parallel to E bar, that is opposite to the field direction. So if it is electron, the force direction is opposite to the field direction. If Q is the positively charged particle, maybe proton, deuteron and alpha particle or positron, etc., then the field direction will be parallel to the field, parallel to the external field, that is E bar direction. Okay. So here, if the charged particle is at rest or in the motion, if the charged particle is moving with velocity v in the parallel to the field direction or anti-parallel to the field direction, then it follows the straight path. It follows the straight path. When the charged particle is moving along the direction of the field or opposite to the field, that is, I am writing V bar parallel to E bar, then the particle follows the straight path. Particle follows the straight path. Okay. Particle follows the straight path. Okay. Suppose if the charged particle, right. So here, suppose if the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the electric field, what happens? For example, consider two condenser plates. This is the positive plate. Okay. It is the negative plate of the condenser, minus, right? Now, the electric lines of force are always positive plate to negative plate between the plates of the condenser. It is the uniform electric field. Therefore, the lines of force are parallel and equidistant. Suppose that a charged particle is moving with the speed v and entering into the electric field perpendicularly. The field direction is vertically downwards. So positive plate is this one, this is the negative plate. Here the lines of force are positive plate to negative plate. That represents what? That represents the field direction. Okay. Here the electric field direction is positive plate to negative vertically downwards. The charged particle is moving perpendicular to the electric field in this direction. Then it follows, say for example, say this is x-axis and say consider it is the y-axis, it follows like this. It follows the parabolic path. Here at the beginning, the particle has the velocity component along the x-axis, Vx is equal to v. Initial velocity in the y direction, let us write it is as ux. Ux is equal to v. Okay. At the entering, when the instant when the particle is entering into the electric field, initial velocity ux is equal to v, that is directed along x-axis. Okay. So then initial velocity in the y direction uy equal to how much, sir? 0. Okay. Suppose that in the time t, the particle reached to here. The particle is reached to this point. Say that this point is P. Then the displacement in horizontal direction x, the displacement in vertical direction say y. Okay. Since here x is the velocity component, horizontal velocity component is not changing. Horizontal velocity component is not changing. Ux is equal to v. Only the vertical component is changing. By using the equation of motion, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Ut plus half at square. Then we can write y is equal to, it is u by t plus half a t square. Right. uy equal to 0, then y is equal to half a t square. But the particle is experiencing force how much? F is equal to QE. Since this is a net force on the particle, that should be equal to, according to Newton's second law, F equal to ma. Then acceleration of the particle A is equal to QE by m. Okay. Substituting this here, the vertical displacement after the time t seconds, y is equal half a QE by m into t square. But here in this direction, the velocity is not changing. Then what we write? Then x is equal to simply the velocity component in the horizontal direction v into time t. T is equal to x by v. So substituting here, y is equal to half QE by m into t square is x square by v square. Okay. Here q constant, electric field strength constant, mass m is constant, mass of that particle, right? So if you observe this equation, it is the parabolic equation. Therefore, when the charged particle is moving in the uniform electric field at right angles, it follows the parabolic path. Okay. When the particle is moving in the electric field either parallel or anti-parallel, the path followed by the particle is straight path. Suppose when the charged particle is projected perpendicular to the uniform electric field, that follows the parabolic path. You can observe from this expression, right? Okay, coming to the next topic, that is effect of magnetic field on charged particle. Yes. Okay. Look here. Suppose a charged particle Q is moving with the speed v in the uniform magnetic field B, uniform magnetic field of induction B, then it experiences the force F is equal to Q into V bar cross V bar. F bar equal to. Its magnitude we write F bar, F is equal to modulus of F bar, that equal to F equal to QVB sine theta. Okay. Here let us see some applications. Suppose when theta is equals to 0, sine 0 equals to 0, then we got F equal to 0. That means what? When the particle is moving along the direction of the field, suppose that the field direction is also like this, the particle is moving in this direction, V bar. Then the angle between V bar and V bar is 0. Okay, when the particle is moving parallel to the field or along the direction of the field, then force F equals to 0. Therefore, it follows the straight path along the direction. When theta is equal to 180 degree, what happens? Sine 180 is 0. That means, suppose when the particle is moving like this, opposite to the field, then also F equals to 0. In this case also, there is no deviation. The particle is moving along the straight path. When theta is equal to 90 degrees, sine 90 equal to 1, then particle experience the maximum force. F maximum is equal to QVBC. In that case, so this force provides the required centripetal force to move in the circular path. Therefore, that should be equal to mv square by r. Okay, QVB equal to centripetal force mv square by r. Right? So from this you can write one v cancel. Okay, then r is equal to mv by dq. This is the expression for radius of the circular path followed by the charged particle in the magnetic field. Okay, now, yes, from that expression, what we write? M into V is the momentum of the particle. Okay, mv is equal to bqr. This is the linear momentum of the charged particle in the circular path. Now you can write the kinetic energy of that charged particle, that equal to kinetic energy, relation between kinetic energy and the momentum, what? P square by 2m, that equal b square q square r square by 2m. This is the kinetic energy. Yes. For example, here this is the circular path followed by the charged particle. The direction of velocity is tangentially like this. Okay, v bar direction. Right. Then momentum P is equal to m into v. So this is the direction of momentum also, equal to bqr. If the particle completes one rotation, then it covers the path distance 2 pi r. With what speed? V. Therefore, time taken by the particle to complete one rotation, T is equal to 2 pi r by V. T is equal 2 pi r. R is equal to mv by bq by V. V cancel. Then you will get 2 pi m by bq. This is the time period of the charged particle when it is moving in the circular path in the uniform magnetic field. From this, the frequency of that particle, that is number of rotations made by the particle in 1 second, the reciprocal of time period, equals to bq by 2 pi m. This is the frequency of charged particle. This concept is used in the cyclotron, that is an accelerator, particle accelerated to accelerate the charged particle energy. Hence, this frequency is called cyclotron frequency, F equal to bq by 2 pi m. Okay. Okay. So, what expressions we got? The radius of the circular path mv by bq, momentum P is equal to bqr, kinetic energy b square q square r square by 2m, time period 2 pi m by bq, frequency bq by 2 pi m. Okay, from these expressions, the questions we can prepare. For example, let us see that one, r is equals to mv by bq, sir. That equal to momentum P by bq. Okay. Suppose here if P is constant and B is constant, then R inversely proportional to